His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa received the chairman of the National Institute for Human Rights NIHR, Engineer Ali Ahmed Al Drazi, at Qutaibiya Palace. During the meeting, His Royal Highness was presented the 11th annual report of the NIHR. His Royal Highness commended the human rights achievements as part of the kingdom's comprehensive development led by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. His Royal Highness expressed his appreciation for the NIHR's efforts and achievements during the reign of His Majesty the King, which were achieved in line with the principles of the National Action Charter, the Constitution, the Kingdom's laws and legislation, as well as international and regional treaties. For his part, Engineer Al Drazi expressed his thanks for His Royal Highness's support for the NIHR's initiatives, which have strengthened Bahrain's human rights achievements. The Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Isa bin Salman Educational Charitable Trust and Chairman of the Board of Directors of Temkeen, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, and the Minister of Cabinet Affairs, Hamad bin Faisal Al Malki, also attended the meeting. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa met with the Ambassador of Italy to Bahrain, Andrea Catalano, at Qutaibiya Palace. His Royal Highness received a written letter from the Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, delivered by the Ambassador. The Prime Minister conveyed her greetings to His Royal Highness, and in turn, His Royal Highness conveyed his own greetings to the Prime Minister of Italy. His Royal Highness highlighted the long-standing relationship between Bahrain and Italy, emphasizing the importance of furthering multi-sectoral collaboration to achieve mutual aspirations. During the meeting, ways to enhance bilateral relations along with latest regional and international developments and issues of common interest were discussed. For his part, the Ambassador expressed his gratitude for His Royal Highness's commitment to strengthening bilateral relations and extended his best wishes for Bahrain's continued progress and prosperity. The Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Isa bin Salman Education Charitable Trust and Chairman of the Board of Directors of Temkeen, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa also attended the meeting. National Security Advisor and Royal Guard Commander Lieutenant General His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa received the Deputy Associate Administrator of NASA, Cassie Swales, in the presence of the U.S. Ambassador to Bahrain, Stephen Sibondi, Deputy National Security Advisor Sheikh Khalid bin Ali Al Khalifa, and the Chief Executive Officer of the National Space Science Agency, Dr. Mohammed Ibrahim Al Asiri. His Highness Sheikh Nasser underscored Bahrain's achievements in space sciences, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity, supported by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa. His Highness also reviewed Bahrain's strategic initiatives to meet present and future demands in space sciences, highlighting the importance of cooperation with NASA in space science and technology while promoting the peaceful utilization of outer space. His Highness Sheikh Nasser underscored Bahrain's commitment to supporting national talent, empowering them to innovate, excel, and lead in this sector. For her part, Swales commended Bahrain's advancements in space sciences, particularly through the launch of the Bahraini satellite El-Mandar, highlighting it as a remarkable national achievement. She also expressed thanks and appreciation to His Highness. Under the royal patronage of His Majesty the King and in the presence of the First Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, Chairman of the General Sports Authority and President of Bahrain Olympic Committee, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the 17th edition of the Gymnasiad Bahrain 2024 kicked off. The opening ceremony was held amid the historic participation of 71 countries competing in 26 sports, which is the largest participation in the history of the Gymnasiad, reflecting Bahrain's commitment to promoting the sports movement at the international level. The event is an opportunity to strengthen cooperation between countries and promote fair competition, and reflects Bahrain's commitment to hosting major events and providing an ideal sports environment, putting the kingdom at the forefront of the regional and international sports scene. The events will be held at a range of state-of-the-art sports facilities, including Isa Sports City, Khalifa Sports City, Al Hassan Sports Complex, the American University of Bahrain, and other locations. These events are also part of Bahrain Bahrain's vision to promote a holistic sports experience that combines sporting competition with cultural exchange, enhancing communication between young people from different countries and promoting international understanding.
Saudi Arabia! مركز ومملكة البحرين.
من كل مكان متابعينك، هي وينك وين بحريني دايم رافع الراس، بينك وبين تحدي ناوي يرجع بالكاس، يلا 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 حمست الناس، دربك خضر روح نافس وارجع لنا بالجاز.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سيدي سمو الشيخ خالد بن حمد آل خليفة النائب الأول لرئيس المجلس الأعلى للشباب والرياضة، رئيس الهيئة العامة للرياضة، رئيس اللجنة الأولمبية البحرينية، نائب راعي الحف، أصحاب السمو والمعالي والسعادة، نرحب بكم اليوم في افتتاح دورة الألعاب المدرسية الدولية 2024. هذا الحدث الذي تستضيفه مملكة البحرين، حيث تجتمع المواهب الرياضية الواعدة من مختلف دول العالم لتتنافس فيما بينها على صعود منصات التتويج. تتلاقى الجهود لتعزيز قيم الصداقة والسلام بين مختلف الشعوب الصديقة باسم الرياضة المدرسية.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. باسمي ونيابة عن زملائي أقسم بالله العظيم أن ألتزم بشريعة المنافسة الشريفة قانوناً وعرفاً روحاً ومضموناً، وأن أنقل للجمهور ما يعكس خلقي القويم، والله على ما أقول شهيد.
Greetings, young adventurers. Welcome to the majestic realms of ancient Dilmun, the island of two seas. Here lies a tale woven over 4,000 years.
دلم أنا يا سيدي قد جئتكم، إني الحضارة والتسامح والبلد، إني أنا التاريخ أزهو باسمكم، وأنا الجدود الماضيات مع الولد. سبحان من أرسى سفينة مجدنا في لجة البحرين بالغالي حمد.
أنا أميرة الأحباب تحريمي، أعطر أرضك الحلوة فوائد. أنا أميرة الأحباب تحريمي، أعطر أرضك الحلوة فوائد. يشيلك في الحشادان وتشيليني، إذا الناس سكنوا في الأرض أنت اللي سكنتيني. يشيلك في الحشادان وتشيليني، إذا الناس سكنوا في الأرض أنت اللي سكنتيني.
A warm welcome to all you aspiring athletes competing in the ISF Bahrain Gymnasiad. This is a grand stage where your dedication and talent will shine as you chase golden victories. Show us your skills and triumph in your quest for excellence and beyond.
ISF هلا هلا بحرين. Oh yeah 2024. Let's go.
We come from near, we come from far, shining all the way, we'll reach all the stars. Through every challenge, we'll give it our all. Together we're stronger, we stand as one.
Welcome to Bahrain. Witness greatness greatness, cause we got game. We love the competition, feels like we on a mission. Trust me, it feels the same. Now watch me, you can't stop me. I'ma work till you see me in top three. Success is on my mind only, cause I'm thinking about winning that trophy. This my time to shine every day. I stay on the grind. Let's keep growing, we ready, let's keep going. The future is ours. 24 hours working just to prove to the doubters that I got what it takes to be worth it. ISF, هلا هلا Bahrain, oh yeah, 2024, let's go.
We come from near, we come from far, shining all the way, we'll reach all the stars. Through every challenge, we'll give it our all. Together we're stronger, we stand as one.
Welcome to Bahrain, witness greatness cause we got game. We love the competition, feels like we on a mission. Trust me, it feels the same. Now watch me, you can't stop me. I'ma work till you see me in top three. Success is on my mind only, cause I'm thinking about winning that trophy. This is my time to shine.
Bahrain has scored the largest participation in the history of the International School Sports Federation by hosting the 17th edition with a record attendance of 5,515 athletes from 71 countries, the ISF Executive Committee announced at the General Assembly meeting. This makes it the largest edition in the event's history, significantly surpassing previous editions. This achievement demonstrates Bahrain's ability to host major international events and attract global sporting talent. Bahrain's strong reputation in sports and investments in world-class infrastructure support the development of young athletes. The kingdom's world-class sports infrastructure, including Khalifa Sports City, Isa Sports City and Bahrain National Stadium, ensures readiness for major international events. The Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Isa bin Salman Educational Charitable Endowment and Chairman of the Board of Directors of Temkeen, Azana Sheikh Isa bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, met with the Under Secretary of the Ministry of Labour, Azana Sheikh Khalifa bin Salman bin Mohammed Al Khalifa, in the presence of the Minister of Cabinet Affairs, Hamad Al Malki, and a number of officials at Qadaibiya Palace. His Highness stressed the importance of continuing to work and pushing forward the paths of joint cooperation between Temkeen and the Ministry of Labour in partnership with the private sector. His Highness also stressed that the process of constructive and development is based on investing in citizens, developing their skills and enhancing creativity and innovation in finding solutions to various challenges, which contributes to creating qualitative opportunities that support the comprehensive development process under the leadership of His Majesty the King and the follow-up of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister towards more comprehensive levels that contribute to the implementation of all initiatives and plans set to make citizens the first choice in the labour market. The Under Secretary expressed thanks and appreciation to His Highness for supporting joint cooperation aimed at providing more qualitative opportunities for the sons of the nation to achieve the desired goals. The royal interest in meeting people with high national achievements and honouring them for their continuous efforts for the advancement of the Kingdom of Bahrain in all national and international form represents the cornerstone of building a cohesive society rooted in its national identity. More in this report.
His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa's interest in honouring innovators and national achievers and his continued support for the alternative sentencing program represents an insightful vision for building a prosperous society based on appreciation and reform. This royal support is the cornerstone of building a cohesive society, fostering creativity and innovation, and ensuring second chances and reintegration into society.
In the beginning, I'd like to thank His Majesty the King. This honor reflects His Majesty's keenness on reform program, alternative sentencing and open prisons. We saw the results and the achievements that this project achieved on the international level. This is a great step and the project is exceptional, achieving international achievements.
The Kingdom of Bahrain is an established model for human rights during the prosperous era of His Majesty the King. This is through projects and initiatives that were launched through the alternative sanctions and open prisons programs.
Workers in the alternative sentencing system have a pivotal and effective role in achieving the humanitarian goals of the system by following up on cases and providing the necessary support to beneficiaries. Therefore, being honoured by His Majesty the King came in support of a society based on innovation, justice and humanity.
Since 2018 until today, we have over 7,000 beneficiaries in the alternative sanctions. All of them are very successful and very stable, and this will lead us to more stable community in the future. Now I can say that the Kingdom of Bahrain have the first implementation of alternative sanctions and open prison, and we have one of the lowest reoffending rate. And this shows the successful implementation of the Kingdom of Bahrain and the Minister of Interior. And of course, this will never happen without the direct supervision of the Minister of Interior and the successful goals and strategies that have been putting together by the General Manager of the General Directorate of Sentence Enforcement and Alternative Sanctions.
The alternative sentencing program is a bold step towards building a more just and humane society as it seeks to rehabilitate offenders in society, which enhances the stability of society and gives the Kingdom of Bahrain a distinguished position in terms of human rights and achieving restorative justice.
The Russian President Vladimir Putin met with the Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Abdulatif Al-Zayani during the BRICS summit held in Russia. The Russian President expressed his thanks for Bahrain's participation in the summit and instructed the Foreign Minister to convey his greetings and appreciation to His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister and wish them continued health and happiness and Bahrain further progress and prosperity. Al-Zayani conveyed to Russia's President the greetings and appreciation of His Majesty and His Royal Highness and for Russia and its people continued growth and prosperity. Al-Zayani expressed pleasure with Bahrain's participation in the BRICS summit within the framework of the close historical relations that bind the two friendly countries, noting the good results achieved by the summit. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdulatif bin Rashid Al-Zayani, headed Bahrain's delegation to the BRICS summit held in Kazan, Russia, under the chairmanship of Russian President Vladimir Putin, in the presence of leaders of member states, heads of governments and state representatives, and the UN Secretary General. The minister delivered a speech at the summit in which he conveyed the greetings of His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, wishing the summit success. He said that Bahrain affirms its appreciation of the vision and goals embodied by BRICS, noting that the commitment to promote economic growth, sustainable development and cooperation among countries. Al-Zayani emphasized the urgent need for peace in the Middle East and emphasized that ongoing conflicts on countries affected and global security, peace, stability and prosperity. He noted that the Arab summit hosted by Bahrain called for an international conference to resolve the Palestinian issue, embodying the independent, sovereign and viable Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. Al-Zayani emphasized that achieving peace in the Middle East and regional necessity and vital to advancing the goals of the BRICS group. He emphasized that a secure and stable Middle East would foster a sustainable environment, fostering trade, investment and development, and opening the way for cultural exchange between societies. Bahrain called on BRICS member states to consider peace as an integral part of their framework for joint cooperation. Al-Zayani called for an immediate end to the war on Gaza and the full implementation of Security Council Resolution 1701 on the situation in Lebanon. He called for collective action to develop a world based on peace, stability, mutual respect, joint cooperation and human solidarity. On the occasion of the celebration of the United Nations Day, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdulatif bin Rashid Al-Zayani, affirmed the keenness of Bahrain under the leadership of His Majesty the King, with the support and follow-up of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, to strengthen cooperation and strategic partnership with the United Nations and its specialized agencies in maintaining international peace and security and supporting comprehensive and sustainable development. The Minister expressed pride in the close, long-standing cooperation with the UN since the beginning of the 70s of the last century and its growth within the framework of Bahrain's adherence to its human and civilized values in line with the principles of the UN Charter. Dr. Al-Zayani pointed out that Bahrain continues as an effective international partner in supporting peace, stability and global prosperity, respecting human rights, protecting the environment and combating climate change in line with its accession to international conventions. The minister urged the international community to respond effectively to the pioneering royal initiatives approved by the Arab Summit on hosting an international conference on peace in the Middle East and the establishment of a Palestinian state in accordance with the two-state solution. He appreciated the insightful vision of His Royal Highness before the UN General Assembly in calling for a comprehensive reform of the international organization in all its organs, including the Security Council, developing the role of the IMF, the World Bank and the WHO. He expressed pride in the presence of Bahrain in global forums through its active membership in international and regional organizations. Today, the world celebrates United Nations Day as the United Nations General Assembly decided to make October 24th of each year a day to commemorate the proclamation of the Charter of the United Nations. This global celebration aims to gain the support of all people and familiarize them with the goals and achievements of the United Nations. More in this report.
On October 24, 1945, the United Nations was established shortly after the Second World War. The idea of creating an organization to help keep peace around the world took shape. This resulted in a document called the Charter of the United Nations, which was ratified by many countries, which focuses on two main goals: peace and human dignity. In 1971, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution declaring United Nations Day and recommending all member states to celebrate it, which is part of the United Nations Week. On September 22, 1971, the flag of the Kingdom of Bahrain was raised at the United Nations headquarters for the first time, as Bahrain officially joined the United Nations as a full member state. Since then, the Kingdom of Bahrain has expanded its network of international diplomatic relations through embassies and diplomatic representatives, and work is still underway to expand Bahrain's international presence. The Kingdom of Bahrain and the United Nations have a long history of cooperation at all levels, which has become an international model to be followed in achieving the goals of the Development Agenda and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The Kingdom of Bahrain has made many achievements through strengthening cooperation and coordination with the World Health Organization, especially in helping the world confront the repercussions of COVID-19 and achieving life recovery for all.
And for more on this topic, we now have the following statement from the Chief of Organization Sector of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Hatem Abdel Hamid.
Bahrain's long-standing relationship with the UN is crucial and has evolved significantly since we became members in 1971. This everlasting partnership highlights Bahrain's dedication to global peace, development, and human rights. For under the visionary leadership of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, Bahrain and all of us continue to demonstrate that we are committed to the UN and its different mandates. So as you all saw most recently, His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, led Bahrain's delegation to the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly. And in his address, His Royal Highness called for much needed reforms within the UN to adapt to modern global challenges and to maintain the integrity of rules-based order. He also emphasized the importance of diplomacy, peace, and multilateralism, which both Bahrain and the UN see them as extremely important. And His Royal Highness urged nations to unite in addressing global crises like conflict, climate change, and of course, sustainable development. Bahrain's Vision 2030, which focuses on economic diversification and social development, go hand in hand in what the UN achieves mainly to do worldwide. The Kingdom of Bahrain has made significant strides in advancing the different sustainable and achieving the different sustainable development goals, particularly by fostering global partnerships with different countries and different international bodies and committees. And in addition to that, Bahrain is a signatory to the very important Paris Agreement on climate change, which emphasizes its commitment to sustainable resource management and improving energy efficiency, which aligns with Bahrain's and the international efforts to combating and mitigating climate change. And very importantly here, I want to mention Bahrain's serving on the Human Rights Council in different multiple terms. And another major area of collaboration, very importantly here, is youth empowerment. Bahrain, in partnership with the UN, has launched different initiatives focusing on developing future leaders. And these programs, which are meant not only for Bahrainis, but youth around the world, were designed to promote innovation, social responsibility, and a brighter future for the youth. Bahrain has introduced several prestigious global awards with the UN. Its outstanding achievements in areas such as peaceful coexistence and youth empowerment, and as well as the advancement of women, which include the King Hamad Award for the Empowerment of Youth to achieve the SDGs, and the Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa Global Award for Women Empowerment. These global prizes demonstrate Bahrain's commitment to making a positive impact on the international stage, and its major belief in the power of both women and youth, as well as emphasizing on the culture of peace notion, which is a very important agenda item on the UN General Assembly.
We also have the following statement from the United Nations Resident Coordinator in the Kingdom of Bahrain, Khalid Al-Maqwad.
This year's United Nations Day marks the 79th anniversary of the entry into force of the United Nations Charter. UN Day is a day to remember and reflect on how nations around the globe united forces following 2 world wars to establish this unique organization dedicated to achieving international peace and security. In today's very challenging times, the UN serves as a stabilizing pillar in a world facing increasing geopolitical divisions, endless wars and conflicts associated with the climate crisis, in addition to increasing humanitarian catastrophes, both natural and man-made, including increased displacement as well as potential nuclear threats. Despite the horrific events unfolding in the Middle East, the UN continues to work in extremely challenging conditions to deliver life-saving humanitarian assistance to those in need and constantly reminding all parties of their obligations under international humanitarian law with the hope for a better future where no one is left behind. I also wish to refer to the recent Summit of the Future, which opened an opportunity for a revamped multilateral system where the UN in its center can play a more representative role in today's world. UN Day is also an opportunity to reflect on the long-standing partnership with the Kingdom of Bahrain and how to develop it in the future. The long-standing partnership between the United Nations and Bahrain has witnessed a remarkable development recently on several levels. At the multilateral level, this has been reflected by Bahrain's participation at the highest level in several UN events. For example, the participation of His Majesty King Hamad ibn Isa Al Khalifa in the opening of COP28 hosted by the UAE last year, and the participation of His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, in the 79th UN General Assembly last September, in addition to the participation of Foreign Minister Dr. Abdul Latif Al-Zayani in the Summit of the Future held in New York last month. On the other hand, the visit of the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to Bahrain last May to attend the Arab Summit within exceptional circumstances in the region represented another facet of the close relations between the two sides. At the country level, we are currently preparing to launch the new partnership framework that will guide the UN work in Bahrain for the period 2025-2029, following an extensive consultation process with a wide range of national partners, including government, private sector, and for the first time, civil society. In this regard, I would like to highlight that the consultations were constructive, interactive, and reflecting a high degree of national ownership.
The Minister of Electricity and Water Affairs, Yasser Ahmeidan, participated in the third Ministerial Conference of Energy Ministers within the framework of the Belt and Road Initiative held under the slogan Innovation for Shared Energy Future. Ahmeidan reviewed Bahrain's efforts to develop infrastructure to accommodate renewable energy sources and reduce greenhouse gas emissions to achieve carbon neutrality in 2060. He noted that the National Renewable Energy Plan, which set goals to integrate renewable energy sources into the electricity grid by 5% by 2025 and 20% by 2035, and government measures aimed to encourage citizens and residents to use renewable energy. Maidan emphasized the efforts made by Bahrain to achieve its goals in the field of energy and diversification of energy sources, in addition to supporting effective measures for energy consumption and working to enhance international cooperation in the areas of securing energy supplies. The Minister of Industry and Commerce, Abdullah Fakhro, participated in the second edition of the Multilateral Industrial Policy Forum 2024 of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, organized by the Saudi Ministry of Industry and Mineral Resources in Riyadh. The minister participated in the ministerial roundtable meetings with a number of ministers and leaders of industrial transformation around the world, and attended the dialogue sessions discussing ways to utilize clean energy sources in industry and the most prominent global practices to enhance resilience in supply chains and adaptability to variable, as well as the latest digital technologies in manufacturing, including artificial intelligence. The minister also participated as a keynote speaker in the dialogue session entitled Policies in Progress in Western Asia, Visions from the Industrial Development Report 2024. The ministry also participated in the exhibition accompanying the forum to highlight the kingdom's most prominent achievements in the industrial sector. The Embassy of Bahrain in Turkey expressed its condemnation of the terrorist attack that targeted the headquarters of the Turkish aerospace industries in Ankara, which resulted in a number of deaths and injuries. The embassy affirms Bahrain's unwavering position in combating extremism and terrorism. It also extends Bahrain's heartfelt condolences and sympathy to the Turkish government and people and to the families and of the victims, and wishes those injured a speedy recovery. Bahrain's parliamentary division delegation met with the Russian delegation on the sidelines of the 45th General Assembly of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. The Russian delegation expressed Russia's full support for His Majesty the King's initiative, calling for an international peace conference aimed at enhancing stability and security in the Middle East, which was followed by a high-level meeting between the two countries. The two sides discussed ways to enhance relations between Bahrain and Russia, stressing the importance of consolidating parliamentary and diplomatic cooperation and exchanging expertise in legislative and legal fields. The Bahraini delegation stressed the kingdom's keenness to enhance economic and trade cooperation with Russia, pointing to the great opportunities available in the energy, investment, education and health sectors. The delegation expressed its appreciation for the fruitful cooperation relations between the two countries.